But he didn't get to do that. He was enjoying his life, and he was enjoying the fruits of his hard labor. However, as you're going to hear, none of this was enough for his wife, the defendant. You're going to hear that the defendant led a privileged life. She had an adoring husband who was a superstar in the beauty industry, a very unusual man. She didn't have to work. She previously had a few part-time jobs when they moved to the California area, but she handled the family's finances. She handled the family's schedules. As I said, they had 2 teenage daughters. And she had privileges that many of us don't have. She had a housekeeper. She had a guy who cleaned the pool. They had gardeners. And she seemed to enjoy spending her days cooking elaborate Italian meals, raising their teenage daughters, lunching with her friends, and doing pretty much whatever she wanted. She also enjoyed many of the benefits of Fabio's success. They went on expensive vacations to exotic locations that you're going to hear about, such as Hawaii, Cabo, or St. Thomas, as you see here. Many of these were prepaid trips by the company that were awarded to Fabio and his team because of their success and their hard work. You're going to hear through various people that are going to testify from the beauty industry that these were called trendsetter trips, and that Fabio's team was awarded these high-value vacations pretty much every year. You're also going to see that the defendant is someone who is very concerned about appearances. As a result, she regularly posted about her fantastic life on her public social media account, her Instagram account, which she kept under her name, Monica Sementilli, and that she would include numerous photographs of herself and her family, as you see here. As I mentioned, she and Fabio had 2 lovely daughters, Jessica, who was 18 at the time of her father's murder, and Isabella, or as they referred to her as Bella, who was almost 17 and still in high school. While the defendant posted on her social media account about the fulfilling, happy life she had with her family, behind the scenes, she was becoming more and more dissatisfied with her comfortable, privileged life. Sometime in 2015, or maybe even before, you're going to hear the defendant became bored with her life, and she was looking for excitement. She wanted a new life, and she began to create one through joining a racquetball league at LA Fitness in Canoga Park, which is in the Woodland Hills area. You're going to hear that she joined the gym in 2015. She hired Matt Nurse. You see his photograph here on the left as a personal trainer to try and get in shape. And you're going to see on the right that she downloaded pictures from his social media account to her Hotmail account, one of which, like I said, you can see here on the far right, a photograph that Matt had posted on his own account of his abs. Sometime in approximately maybe June of 2015, the defendant began flirting with Matt Nurse, her trainer. She invited him to go out for drinks. You're going to hear they eventually went out for lunch in the Calabasas area. And you're going to hear that the defendant propositioned him for sex. However, he wasn't interested and he turned her down. She confided in him at that time. She was unhappy in her marriage. He asked her, why don't you just get a divorce if you're so unhappy? And she said, why throw away 20 years? Because, of course, her marriage brought all these great privileges. And Fabio was often away traveling on business, which was a major part of his job at Wella and Cody. And so this allowed her a lot of free time to do as she pleased most of the time. Through the Racquetball League at LA Fitness, the defendant made some new friends, including Ricardo Cabrera and Sheila Salahian, who you're going to hear from, and you'll hear more about today. You're also going to see the defendant here in these photographs at the LA Fitness in the racquetball area with her friends Elise Bluel and Faye Manucheri-Kubian behind them. Seated to their left in the bottom right photograph, Sheila's in the yellow tank top and Ricardo in the lavender-colored shirt. on the bench. You're also going to hear that the racquetball league coordinator at LA Fitness was a guy named Robert Baker. The defendant, her friend Elise and Faye were friends at the gym, but they also socialized outside of the racquetball league. They referred to themselves as the Three Musketeers, and both Elise and Faye thought that they were close friends of Monica's. Defendant mentioned to them that she was tired of being a housewife to her friends, and she also confided in them that she wanted to hook up with her trainer, Matt Nurse, which I told you about. Sometime in September of 2016, you'll hear the defendant invited these ladies over to the house along with Robert Baker while Fabio was away on business. What you'll hear is by this time, September of 2016, the defendant was already engaged in a torrid affair with Robert Baker, the racquetball league coordinator, which she never told her friends about. They thought they knew her. You're going to hear from an awful lot of people over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, perhaps, that are going to tell you they really thought they knew who the defendant was, and they did not. She betrayed them, just like she did with her family and her friends. This here on the left, you can see is a photograph of Robert Baker with Sean McCullum at LA Fitness. Sean McCullum was another member of the league, and you're going to hear about him and his wife. Paula, in the background, you can see the defendant in black with red shoes talking on her cell phone. On the right is another picture of Robert Baker, the defendant's lover and co-conspirator in this case. In December of 2015, the defendant began to take racquetball lessons from Baker. They exchanged emails December 1st, which you see here. This is approximately when they first met. And you can see the exchange where the defendant says, "Hi, it's Monica. I know you said league starts in January. Can I get lessons? Let me know if you're available. What are the right rates?" And she flirts with him a little bit, "Looking forward to kicking my trainer's butt. LOL, Monica Sementilli." And the defendant says he's available for lessons anytime, and he sends her his cell phone number. This is a cell phone number you're going to hear about over and over again. You may want to jot it down. 213-272-1093. It wasn't long after this email exchange before the defendant and Robert Baker were sexually involved. Their affair began very soon after these communications. The defendant obviously believed Baker was exciting, although he had no money, no prospects for success. And you're going to hear that at this point, the defendant began living two lives, two very separate lives simultaneously. Eventually, the defendant, she decided she would rather live the more exciting new life with Baker that she was creating, which was completely different than her role as a wife and mother. So who is Robert Baker? And you've heard about him during jury selection. As I said, he was the racquetball coach and coordinator at LA Fitness. Years ago, he was in the Army. You're going to hear from 2015 to 2017, he lived in an apartment in Woodland Hills with another man. This was located at 6817 Independence Avenue, apartment 110 in Canoga Park. You're going to hear a lot about that location. That location was approximately 4 miles from the Sementilli home on Queen Victoria. You're also going to hear that Robert Baker was a registered sex offender, and that this stemmed from a series of 1993 convictions for lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14. You can see here I've listed the counts: unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor, continuing sexual intercourse with a child, oral copulation and sodomy. You're going to learn that the victim in this case was actually his stepdaughter from a prior marriage. In every way,